Hey everyone, RareTotem here once again, and today I'm going to talk about the big cybernetic elephant in the room. One of the major antagonists in the Cyberpunk 2077 video game, who is renowned for his ability to kill with extreme efficiency and is one of the primo threats that the game spends many hours conditioning you to fear, is tragically terrible in the upcoming Cyberpunk TCG, at least in its current form. Now, before I dive into the reasons why Atom Smasher is so bad in the game, and why his main effect can actually cause you to lose the game, I want to first preface this by saying that this is an analysis based off of all of the cards that are currently leaked and available to us for playtesting, as of late April. And these views will no doubt drastically change when the game is officially released and the rest of the first set's cards are known to us months from now. My opinions in this video are strictly how he performs in the current alpha format of this game, where players are crafting 30 card decks containing any of the cards that have been revealed to us thus far, in order to parrot the two 30 card decks in the alpha kits, which are available for download. If you haven't been aware of this, you can go to the website, download, and print the proxies off to play with your friends. I'm including the link in the description down below if you did not know that that was a thing. And so now that we've got this big disclaimer out of the way, we can get into the analysis of why Atom Smasher is so problematic in the current format, and a couple of things that could be done to make him the terror that he's known to be in the game once the TCG goes live, and I'm hoping that at least one of these things will be implemented into the game. So to start with, Atom Smasher is a 9-cost yellow unit that costs 5 yellow RAM to play, and he has a sizable 15 power. So straight out the gate, we can see a few limiting factors here. The first being that he requires you to play a mono yellow deck, as he has 5 yellow RAM cost requirement. And while in the current format that's not much of a problem given that yellow has the most cards to choose from and is also the strongest color, it can be more problematic if yellow somehow turns out to be weaker than the other colors at the time of the game's official release. The other major limiting factor is not nearly as easy to ignore as that, and that is simply how much he costs to play. Atom Smasher Metal Over Meat is coming in at a whopping 9 eddies cost, the most of any card in the game currently, and it is incredibly difficult to reach that number. In a perfect world where you miss no turns where you sell a gear or program card for eddies, you can finally play Atom Smasher on your 6th turn of the game. Just think about that for a second. If you don't sell a gear or program card every single turn, you will not get this guy out on the field. And I will tell you that in my games, it is very rare to make it to the end of the game with 9 eddies that you can use. It's not impossible, but you have to be very conservative with the gear and the programs you use throughout the game if you want to get Atom Smasher on the field. And okay, let's say you manage to get to turn 6, and you have the 9 eddies that you're going to need in order to play him. What do you get? Well, he has 15 power, which is pretty nice as he'll automatically steal 2 gigs from your opponent when you attack directly. But you have to wait a turn to attack. And why Because if you do not play him on your 6th turn with the intention of attacking to steal gigs, he will frankly not be able to attack at all, because the game will go into overtime on turn 7, the turn he would normally be able to attack, and then the game will be over before you even have a chance to swing with him because your opponent's going to probably take the game in overtime. So, he is expensive and, realistically, has a 1-turn window to attack and try to win you the game. Now you may say, well, why would I rely solely on him to attack to win me the game? I have plenty of other units capable of stealing gigs, why not just use one of them? And that brings us to the coup de grace as to why he's just not a good unit to play in the current format of the game. And that is his ability. When Atom Smasher hits the field, all other units are destroyed. Yes, he is a big, flashy board wipe. The only board wipe in the game currently, and sure, it fits his lore. He destroys everything in his path, and it makes sense. Only, how this game is played, the effect isn't just the equivalent of shooting yourself in the foot when you play him, it's sawing your own legs off completely and letting your opponent finish you off. You see, this game's structure at the moment differs from other TCGs that are out there, where this ability would normally thrive, and that is that this game has no post-combat main or play phase, similar to how Pokemon operates. You have to play every card, activate every ability, and call a legend before you decide you want to make an attack. And once you attack, that's it. You can't make any other plays after that. and that's what makes his ability so clunky and just absolutely terrible to use. And that's because the moment you play Atom Smasher, your turn ends. He will cost all of your resources in order to play him, so that means you have no other resources to play any other cards or call any other legends, and you just board wiped, so you have no units that you can attack with. Meaning, if your opponent is already at 6 gigs, you just lost the game by playing Atom Smasher because now you cannot steal one of those to prevent your loss when they go next. The only scenario in which his effect is helpful to you is when you're already ahead in gigs and you want to prevent your opponent from attacking you on their next turn. So then yes, you can play Atom Smasher if you can afford to, and then destroy all of their units, preventing them from stealing any of your gigs and winning you the game. But that is such a fringe use case, and I have never, ever seen anyone do that with Atom Smasher. In fact, most of the time, I never even see him hit the board because of how much he costs to play. So yeah, it's very disappointing that he's in such a sad state at the moment, but there is hope in that we have yet to see all the cards. In fact, we've only seen a fraction of the cards that are going to be released in the coming months, and I'm hoping to see several mechanics introduced into the game that will allow this beautifully illustrated card to shine. The first such mechanic is one that's present in nearly every TCG out there with a resource system required, and that is ramp. I fully expect there to be some legend or other card that will allow you to cheat high-cost cards like Smasher onto the field much earlier in the game than they otherwise would be played. This single mechanic would fix nearly every problem with this card's design, except for effectively ending your turn as he kills all your other units that would have been able to attack your opponent. That is, unless they add the second mechanic that would make him a more attractive option to field in your deck, and that is giving your units some form of protection from other units' abilities. Now, you wouldn't likely be able to play a second card in conjunction with Smasher to offset his board wipe ability due to how much it would cost to do such a combo, even with ramp in the game. So an effect like this would have to be on a card that could be spent to prevent its destruction due to an ability or something along those lines, I think. Another interesting mechanic that we have a single card making use of currently is discard pile recursion. To go in line with the ramping of Eddie's mechanic, I feel confident that there will be some form of discard pile recursion that may allow you to cheat an expensive unit like Smasher onto the field from the discard pile without paying Eddies, or paying significantly less Eddies than you normally would. Maybe by sacrificing a certain number of units on your side of the field whose total cost equals that of the unit that you want to bring back from the discard pile, something like that could work out just fine. And that may sound like a pretty steep cost, but I don't think it would take too many cards to get to the 9 total that you would need to bring Smasher out into the field. But accomplishing that is going to be significantly easier than having 9 Eddies to play with come turn 6 in the game. In any case, like every other card currently released, all of this analysis is subject to dramatic change when the game officially releases, and I'm hoping to see some of these mechanics find their way into the game to add viability to Atom Smasher and give him the tools that he needs to become a true menace to the denizens of Night City. Alright everyone, well that concludes this in-depth look into Atom Smasher. I want to thank you all for watching me ramble on about a card in a game that's not even out yet officially, and I hope you managed to get something out of this video. I have a couple of other projects in the works that might come out in the next coming week or two, particularly around deck techs and maybe some gameplay footage and talking my way through how I play the game. So be sure to check out for that. If there's a particular card or deck idea you'd be interested in me covering, please let me know in the comments, as well as giving any constructive criticism you may have regarding my content, as I'm obviously a very small-time channel at the moment, and I'm hoping to grow the channel, especially when the game is fully released. Thank you all for watching again, and I'll see you soon.